Your family, it's Kingrum Reacts. I'm gonna try something different. Let me know what y'all think about this.
Don't do what we do, so we don't like them. It's like, bro, birds fly and fish swim. We are not the same. But God gave us all air. He don't judge. Why are you?
Out there watching is a man that feel like he only as good as his ability to do, and he's suffering in silence. He don't feel appreciated. And when you don't feel appreciated, what's the point of even living?
Why is mental health so important to you?
Everything I just told you. One of the greatest artists in the world say he wanted to kill himself. That's why mental health is important. Yeah, I did a lot of inner work. You gotta want to change.
Yes.
You can't go off what people tell you about what you need to change. You need to have that honest conversation for yourself.
Correct.
What gives me fulfillment? I know what gives me fulfillment. I'm showing the world, but mostly men, how to turn their pain into passion. Take your pain and turn it into purpose. You don't know who you touching when you do this.
Feel like anybody ever tried to understand who Michael Beasley was, the person? Nobody understood Michael Beasley, the person.
No.
Did anybody try to get that? No. Did you try to let anybody in to see that?
How many times did I cut my hair? Go back and look at it. How many times I tried to reintroduce myself? Go back and look at it. How many times I tried to apologize for who y'all thought I was? Go back and look at it. Y'all laughed at every single time. Every single time. I've never been able to have a good game without y'all talking about my past. Even today, y'all don't know my mental.
Did you
No, not one time.
No one's always hurt the deepest. You give your love away and somehow they the first to leave it. I try to heal my heart, but somehow I just can't complete it. Every time I trust somebody, they remind me why I shouldn't believe it. People say they love you, but they never really stay. They see you drowning in your feelings, they just look the other way. I've been fighting all these thoughts, I pray they go away. But the more I try to fix it, the more broken I become.
Fucking broken, you hear me? I'm tired of acting like I'm fine when every single day feels like I'm drowning inside my own damn mind. I wake up every morning trying to convince myself it'll get better, but it never fucking does. I'm exhausted, man. I'm just tired. I hold it all in, trying to be strong for everybody else, but who the fuck's strong for me? Who's there when I break? People see the calm. They see the smile, but they don't see the war going on in my chest every single night. I scream in silence, I bleed in private, and I still show up like nothing's wrong. Because if I don't, who the hell will? I gave everything I had to people who couldn't care less if I was okay. And you wonder why I don't trust a fucking soul anymore. I'm not cold, I'm just numbed. I learned the hard way.
The happiest dude in the room, ask him how he's doing. For real. A lot of people don't ask me because to the point that I'm always happy, I'm laughing, I'm bullshit, always brightening everyone else's day. His day must be fine because he's brightening everybody else's life. I would say that's not a fact. That person that brightens other people's lives, they're just good at brightening people's day.
One day I'll smile, pain will fade away. All these dark nights will turn to brighter days. I've been through storms, I walk through the rain. But one day I'll smile again. One day I'll smile, I know it's coming soon. Even the darkest nights may wait for the moon. All these scars, all this pain. One day I'll smile again. I remember nights I cried in my room, writing these songs while staring at the moon, thinking my life was ending too soon. But deep in my heart I knew I'd bloom. Carrying pressure at only 22, trying to be strong when I'm feeling so blue. Nobody knew what I was going through, so I told all my pain to the boo. Some days I almost gave up the fight, but something inside told me hold on tight. Maybe tomorrow will bring some light. Maybe my dreams will finally take flight. I know the rain won't fall forever. Pain don't last, it makes you better. Even when life gets heavy like weather, I keep believing it'll get better. One day I'll smile, the pain will fade away. All these dark nights will turn to brighter days. I've been through storms, I walked through the rain. But one day I'll smile again.
In the family, I know the videos that have been previously played. I know it's been on something different, but I'm feeling some different way today. But we're going to play this one more clip, and then we're going to get to the reactions.
I got no resentment,
no pain. I got nothing against you. All right, I know life happens how it happens. It is what it is. You know what I'm saying? And I understand as a man now. Like when I was a child, yeah, it hurt. Just two grown men crying in the middle of the street. Got no resentment, no pain. I got nothing against you. All right, I know life happens how it happens. It is what it is. You know what I'm saying? And I understand as a man now. Like when I was a child, yeah, it hurt. Just two grown men crying in the middle of the street. But you know, as a kid, you know, it was painful. But you know, it molded me into the man that I had to be today. So you know, in a way, I'm kind of thankful that it happened the way it happened. You know what I'm saying? It ain't no pain that I would wish on nobody, but.
You look good, boy. Look at that Adam
Appreciate it.
apple.
I know. You know?
Oh, it's big as hell, boy.
You know? I got no resentment, no pain.
Let's get into it. So, yo, family, let's roll up, let's sit back, let's react. Welcome to Kingrum Reacts. We are reacting to some wild TikToks that I found. Let's go.
You don't mess with fairies. The general rule of thumb is don't even try. Don't even acknowledge them. Don't talk about them. I'm messing up right now. We're talking about them.
What's the thing about these things? Like, what are they?
So people think that fairies are little Tinkerbell-esque creatures. That's the image that we've been given through media, mostly, right? Yeah. But that version of the fairy only really became popularized in the Victorian age. That's when we started seeing a lot of illustrations of like tiny little, clean little cute women, mostly with tiny little wings that look like dragonflies or butterflies. Prior to that, fairies come predominantly from European folklore and largely from Irish folklore. And they were described as all sorts of things. In Irish folklore, fairies are sometimes the spirits of the dead, sometimes they're spirits of long dead Celtic kings and queens, and it comes out of this long mythological lineage. So they're not tiny little innocent pixies, they're kind of terrifying spirits, essentially. And then you kind of get into the study of fairies more broadly, and every culture has a different kind of being, or multiple different kinds of beings, that might be described as fairies. You don't.
Rocko's Modern Life wasn't a kids' show. It was adult satire disguised as cartoons. And there's one episode that proves everything. Season 1, episode 11.
And I used to watch this every day,
Rocko
too.
loses his job at Kind of a Lotto Comics. He's desperate. Bills piling up. Heifer suggests a new job. Be hot, be naughty, be courteous. Rocko works at a phone sex hotline. This actually aired on Nickelodeon in 1993. He sits in a cubicle, takes calls, women on the phone. Oh, Rocko, he reads from a script, uncomfortable, sweating. The creator confirmed this. Joe Murray admitted Rocko worked a phone sex line, intentionally, but it's deeper. Rocko is an immigrant, a wallaby from Australia, alone in America. He works degrading jobs, exploited, struggling, phone sex, comic store, everything. Modern life destroys him. Every episode he loses, evicted, scammed, humiliated. This isn't comedy, it's depression. Filbert's anxiety, undiagnosed mental illness. I'm nauseous. Clinical symptoms shown to children. Ed Bighead, Rocko's future, miserable, bitter, hates his job, same field, same house type. Rocko is looking at his nightmare. Heifer died. Raised by wolves is literal. A cow doesn't get adopted by wolves naturally. He's in the afterlife, an animal purgatory. They're all dead or broken. Rocko's Modern Life was never for kids. It was for adults trapped in jobs they hate. Immigrants, struggling, people with anxiety, depression. The phone sex scene wasn't hidden. It was the point. Modern life is hell, and Rocko showed it to a generation who wouldn't understand until they grew up. And now you do.
This cartoon theory will ruin your childhood.
That was
We all know about this show from our childhood, Ed, Ed, and Eddie. What if I told you guys that every single character in that is actually unalived? This theory has been floating around the internet for so long, I had to do a video on it. Before we go on, guys, make sure you like and follow if you like this content, and comment down below anything else you want me to cover. Okay, so let's get into it. The theory goes that Ed, Ed, and Eddie and all the kids in the show are actually in purgatory, which explains why they always talk about adults, but they never see any adults. And also, have you ever taken a look at their skin complexions? They're extremely unnatural, almost like an unalived person. At first when I heard that, I'm like, I guess, maybe. But then I read about how their tongues are greenish blue, and only unalived people have greenish blue tongues. And that's not even the most convincing part of it. Throughout the show, there are so many historical discrepancies. Like, for example, one moment you'll see them using a typewriter, another moment you'll see them using a VHS machine, and then another moment they're using a full-blown computer. What normal person, let alone children, use devices from so many different time periods? Because each kid in the show is from a different time period, and when they meet their demise, they take something that represents their time period with them to purgatory. Dun dun dun. Y'all, I went down a rabbit hole with this theory. I found a breakdown of each one of the characters, how they were unalived, what time period they're from. And when I tell you guys I was reading for hours, it's so juicy. But for now, let's just talk about Ed, and Eddie. Okay, so apparently Ed and his sister Sarah were typical 50s kids. Sarah was cute and innocent, and Ed being obsessive when it comes to like movies about monsters and sci-fi. How they were unalived is hard to pin down, so a lot of people say they're just gonna go with the car crash. I wasn't sold with that. I was like, okay, so are we just guessing here? Until I got into Ed with 2Ds. His theory is wild. So, according to Destroyer47949 on Reddit, Ed was the child of yuppie parents from the 80s that had no business having kids with the career types that they had. They were barely home and always left instructions for Ed on post-it notes rather than actually being present, which stay with him in purgatory because that was the only connection to his parents that he ever really knew. He was unalived by his parents' science experiment gone wrong. There's basically an explosion that scalped him completely. I don't want to get banned. In the hospital, they try to save his life, but to no avail. Which is why he wears that sock-like beanie
This
the
shit is
whole
crazy. I
time
never heard
on
of
the whole
this.
show, and you never see his head. There are plenty of other characters that are wearing hats sometimes, and it would fall off or they take it off. But Ed, you never see his head. Now, Eddie was a con artist from the 30s that was trying to make a quick buck during the Depression. He had scammed a bunch of kids, and as he was running away, his foot got caught in the deep part of a river and he drowned. And it's
Oh,
said that the
damn.
reason he's so like dopey and slow is because of the water on his brain from drowning. Now,
Wow.
guys, don't ask me where these people are getting these explanations for the unaliving, but when I tell you I have been so entertained, I could read these all day.
This is
So yeah, I
wild
hope
if
you
it is
guys
true.
enjoyed them. There's plenty
I
of
never heard of
other
it, but if y'all did,
theory
let me know.
explanations that prove that they're in purgatory a little better. But I don't know, I feel like this one's the most like juicy. It has the most tea. Anyway, guys, if you want a part 2, let me know. This card
explaining some creepy facts about cartoons. Pluto's origin is bizarre. Everyone always wondered why Pluto was the only one who acted like a pet, even though everyone else there was also an animal. Especially Goofy, who was also a dog. But what if I told you? Disney already explained this, and it's terrifying. In 1929, there was a special Halloween episode meant to reveal Pluto's backstory. But it was so disturbing that it got banned worldwide and was never shown again. It started with Mickey driving late at night when his car suddenly broke down. A man named Eustace, the new guy in town, stopped to help him. Grateful, Mickey offered to show him around. They quickly became friends. But people in the town were acting strange. Wherever they went, locals whispered things like, "Stay away from Mickey before it's too late." At the end of the tour, Eustace said he didn't like the city and was planning to leave. But that's when Mickey snapped. He grabbed a rock and hit Eustace on the head, knocking him out. Then he dragged him into his basement, crying and whispering, "I'm sorry, but this is the only way." Moments later, Mickey began performing a surgery. When Eustace woke up, he tried to scream, but only barks came out. Panicked, he looked around until Mickey appeared, smiling softly. "Don't worry, Pluto, it's me, your best friend." From that day on, Eustace was gone, and Pluto was born. So tell me, do you think this episode ever really existed, or was it Disney's way of hiding something much darker?
Dora theory, Dora the Explorer. It's all about the internet. Now check this out, ready? The end of computer in Spanish is Dora. When the first Dora came out, in the intro, what did they zoom in on before the episode played? The house, right? Dora. It goes in the house.
Computer.
It goes to a computer screen.
I used to watch this
Yeah, it
whenever
goes to
I
a
was
computer screen.
younger.
And when it goes to a computer screen, you go on Dora, Dora, Dora the Explorer. She's exploring the internet, bro. What? Internet Explorer. Who's the villain? Yo, who's the villain? Swiper the Fox. Mozilla Firefox. Oh, isn't that crazy?
There's no way that's...
The theory is like it's made by
That's
Microsoft,
wild.
whoever owns like Internet Explorer.
Fam,
I think
I'm
Microsoft, but it was to
That's
push
nuts.
Internet Explorer. They made the term Explorer attached to the internet through Dora.
So far, all the videos that we've seen has definitely been wild. Let me know what y'all think about them. Comment. Do all that good stuff for your boy. Support everything. Let's go.
Turner is Danny Phantom.
What? How?
Before Timmy turned 13, his final wish was to become Danny Phantom, so he didn't have to lose his Fairly Odd Parents.
A little loophole around aging.
Because if you look at all the characters in both series, AJ and Chester are Dash and Tucker, Jazz is Vicky, Trixie is Paulina, and Tootie is Sam.
Alright, I think I can see the similarities there.
In one episode of The Fairly Odd Parents, Timmy's parents became ghost hunters, and in their house they built a little laboratory, a ghost hunting lab. And on the wall in the back was a wanted Danny Phantom sign.
I mean, that's basically the
I
intro
do
to
remember that
Danny
episode,
Phantom.
but
And we
not
know
all the
Timmy has
details.
also wished
Wow.
before to never be born. So when he did that, maybe he created an alternate reality of him becoming Danny Phantom.
Well, there was no Timmy, just Danny. All of the Rugrats are a part of Angelica's imagination. They aren't real.
None of them?
Chucky died in the same accident that his mom died. And that's why his dad is always so nervous and freaking out, because he has to deal with it.
What about Tommy?
Well, Tommy was a stillborn. And that's why Stu goes down into the basement late at night, making toys for the son he wish he had.
That's why he's always depressed.
What are you doing?
Making chocolate pudding.
It's 4 o'clock in the morning. Why on earth are you making chocolate pudding?
Because I've lost control of my life.
And the twins ended up being a miscarriage. It was early in the pregnancy, so Angelica didn't know if it was going to be a boy or a girl, so she just imagined both.
What about Susie?
Susie is real and going along with all of Angelica's crazy imaginations because it's her only friend. She tries to make her happy at times. But the one baby that is real is Dill. Dill goes against Angelica's crazy imagination and doesn't do what she expects. And that's why Angelica freaks out on Dill all the time and gets so upset. All
Could see the Rugrats like theory and all that. I do understand that, but please explain to me how they got Rugrats all grown up. That's all I want to know. How do they do that?
Check this out. There's a theory that Shrek and Kung Fu Panda are in the same universe.
Shrek and Kung Fu Panda.
So, hear me out, right?
Yeah.
The theory states that Shrek, it's supposed to be in like the West Hollywood area of the world. And then Kung Fu Panda is obviously where? Asia. Now, what if they pull some Avengers type beat, bro? And then they take every single character from every single universe. Now look at How to Train Your Dragon. They're also DreamWorks, right? Kung Fu Panda's DreamWorks, How to Train Your Dragon's DreamWorks, and Shrek is DreamWorks.
Yeah.
How to Train Your Dragon, what part of the world is that? That's Europe. So now they have Europe, they have Asia, and then they have America. Now, check it out. And they have the water. So who do they have?
Shark Tale, bro.
Shark Tale, bro. Nemo.
Wait, is that DreamWorks?
Nemo's Disney.
Oh, fuck. My fault.
Nemo's Disney.
Yeah.
But I can imagine they're gonna do that shit. And I don't know why they don't do it already.
Yeah.
They should do that already,
No,
bro.
because it's like the Disney thing. If they have worlds,
Mhm.
they can definitely put. Oh, that's crazy. What else is coming out for DreamWorks? What is a new one coming out?
I don't know. I know they have like new stuff they're working on.
Yeah.
But the Puss in Boots and like Shrek universe is the main for sure.
Yeah.
The reason Phineas and Ferb's mom has never seen their inventions is much darker than you think. Now, for years, everyone thought it was just the joke of the show, but there's a theory that reveals the truth. It's not a joke. Phineas and Ferb passed away when they were young, but Candace has been hallucinating their inventions every single day to cope with losing her brothers. And to be honest, there's a ton of evidence to back it up. First, their inventions are impossible. A roller coaster through downtown, a rocket ship in the backyard. No kid could actually build that, but a kid who's grieving could imagine it. Second, Ferb barely speaks the entire series. Most people think he's just the quiet one, but the theory says that Candace can't fully remember his voice. She can picture him, but she can't hear him. Third, their mom never reacts. Every time Candace tries to show her, she sees nothing. That's not bad timing, that's a mother watching her daughter talk to no one, but she doesn't know how to stop it. Now, do any of y'all have dark cartoon theories? The reason
I was watching Snow White and realized something disturbing. Every dwarf looks almost identical. Same wrinkled face, same white beard, and same loud personality. Except Dopey. He's younger, and he never speaks. What if Dopey was never actually a dwarf? Think about it. He's the only one with a single tooth. The only one wearing oversized clothes. The only one who acts like a child, almost like he was a human boy raised by dwarfs. But years later, Dopey realizes he doesn't belong with them, so he leaves the forest and becomes obsessed with woodworking and cuckoo clocks. And eventually, Dopey becomes Geppetto. They have the same eyes, the same nose, even the same clumsy behavior. Because Geppetto wasn't just building a puppet, he was trying to recreate the normal childhood he never had. I was watching.
Eric Trump was just exposed for trying to get insider information from a UFC commentator ahead of tonight's UFC event at the White House. So this is from a now deleted post from Daniel Cormier, a UFC commentator and Hall of Famer, who exposed his direct messages with Eric Trump, who asked him the following, quote, "You placing any bets?" And Daniel responds with, quote, "Nah, I'm actually not allowed to bet on any cards or anything." And then Eric says, quote, "Are any of the fighters injured that you know of?" And Daniel says, quote, "I'm not quite sure why you're asking me this, but I think they're all in good shape." And then Eric says, quote, "I'll just cut to the chase. Are any of the fights tomorrow rigged? I've been eyeing the Loops fight, and I think an upset wouldn't be too unrealistic. Money sign, money sign." And then Daniel shuts it down by saying, quote, "No, none of our fights are rigged, and honestly, I am appalled that you would even ask me something like that." Then Daniel tweeted out the DMs of Eric Trump and said, quote, "I'm probably going to get a lot of flack for bringing this to light. However, I refuse to stay silent. The UFC is a sport that I am deeply passionate about and will not tolerate this type of insider behavior. Shame on anyone trying to ruin this beautiful event." And he put Eric Trump's direct messages on blast. Why this is so corrupt is because it seems like Eric Trump was trying to get insider information on how these fights were going to turn out so that he could place bets on them and make money off of them. It is crazy that these messages were leaked. I imagine this guy was pressured by the White House and everybody to take them down, but we saw them with our own eyes. And that was Eric Trump attempting to get insider information on an official sporting event, which many people have gone to prison for in the past. I guess the apple doesn't fall far from the tree, and by that I mean Eric Trump is out here breaking the law just like his...
Wow, that's just crazy. That's insane. Like you really going, and you're the president's son. Like you really going to do all that. But mad respect to DK. Hell yeah, that's what you're supposed to do. Shit like that. Yeah, big respect right there.
Reason why people close their curtains at night in the Appalachian Mountains. There are things in those woods that are terrifying. And one of those things happened to be the Appalachian Wendigo. Now, there was this man named Jim. Jim decided one day that he was going to sell everything he had and buy some acreage of land in the Appalachian Mountains and start this homestead. So Jim finds this good piece of land and he moves there, builds a cabin and several structures. And for a year, his life was amazing. He said one day, though, he gets a knock on his cabin door. And he said he opens the door. On the other side of the door was this older gentleman. And he said the gentleman starts speaking. He said, "Hey, my name is Fox. I live not too far from here. And I wanted to check on you because I know you're all alone out here. And things can happen to people who are alone in the woods." And Jim was kind of like, why is this guy saying all this and stuff? So he said the guy continued to talk to him, but all he could think about was the fact that this guy, Fox, looked exactly like his father, who had passed away when he was a young boy. And he said it was just very, very eerie. It was like talking to his father. So he said, finally, the guy said, "You be safe out here. I'll see you later." And he said the way he said it was kind of creepy. So he said this guy, Fox, he just walked away and took off into the woods, and he never seen him again. A couple months after this, he said, one night he was asleep in his bedroom, and he awakes to this sound of scratching. And he said the scratching sounds were coming from his window. And he said when he looked over in the direction towards his window, he sees the shadow appear, and it's almost in the shape of a person. And he said the shadow just moved across the wall, all the way around him to the other side of his bed. And he said the next thing he knows, something was holding him down. He could not move, and he was panicking and freaking out. And then he said, all of a sudden, it was gone. And he got up and he said, that must have just been a really crazy dream. So he said, this kept happening to him. He kept having this, what he thought at the time was a dream. Well, one day he said he was out on his land setting up some traps. And he said he happened to notice in the snow there was all of this weird movement. And he said, what is that in the snow? So he goes a little closer, he grabs a tree branch, and he moves the snow over. And he said out popped several rats. And he said that's when he realized these rats were eating a deer carcass. And he said it was just so sickening that he had to start vomiting. And he said as he was bent over vomiting into the snow, he looks up, and there is the guy Fox. And he said the guy was just standing there staring at him. And he's like, hey, what are you doing out here on my property? And he said Fox looked at him and said, you seen the deer? And he said, yeah. And he said, you see, a lot of weird things happen in these woods. And then he said he turned and just walked away. So he said, that was like a really weird encounter. Like, did he have something to do with that deer or whatever? So he said, next couple of days, he really, really kept having these nightmares where he would see this shadowy thing in his room. And then he said this one particular night, he was sitting by the fireplace and he was just contemplating life. And he said all of a sudden, the next thing he knows, he just stood up. He started walking towards the door. He opened the front door of the cabin and he starts walking out into the woods. And he said it was weird. It was like he knew what he was doing, but he couldn't control it. And something was just drawing him into the woods deeper and deeper. So he said finally he stops and he's just surrounded by trees. It's completely dark. And he said the next thing he knows, he hears his father's voice say, son, come here, it's your father. And he said out of the shadows steps that guy Fox again. And he said, it's me, I'm your father, come here, come give your father a hug. And Jim's just kind of like, no, you're not my father, my father's not here anymore. And he's like, no, I am your father, like I've been here the whole time, come give me a hug. And he said he just like didn't trust this guy, he thought he was crazy. And he said all of a sudden this guy's skin began to peel off. And he said that's when he could see this wasn't his father, this wasn't a man, this was this pale white skinny creature with sharp teeth, sharp claws, and these bright yellow eyes. And he said this thing said to him, I said, come here now. And the voice had changed. So he said next thing he knows, like he was able to get awareness again, and like he was aware of his situation where he was at. He turns and he just takes off running. He gets back to his cabin, he jumps in his truck, and he leaves his cabin and just abandons it. And he said after a couple weeks, he didn't know what to do. So he went to this Native American man in town that everyone said was a medicine man. And he told him like what had happened and stuff. And he said, this Native American man said to him, what you've seen was the Wendigo, what my people call the Wendigo. And he said, he has chosen you. And the reason he hasn't taken you yet is because he wants you to be as afraid as possible, because to them, the more fear you have, the better you taste to them. And he will continue to follow you and harass you until he finally gets you afraid enough that he will take you. So Jim said he decided to sell the cabin and he never went back there again. And he said still to this day, he can hear scratching sometimes at his window and he will see the shadowy figure in his room at night.
So you're telling me they find 71 little girls in a sewer under a synagogue and they was just exploring? Nyack police had to come and rescue 71 little girls who were on a trip and took it upon themselves to go explore the sewers. Something don't sound right about this. Let's go back to Brooklyn a couple of years ago when they found them underground in a synagogue. What's going on under there though? Crazy thing is, they were all little girls, 71 little girls. So you mean to tell me 71, number 71 little girls got away from whoever they were with and said, let's go in this tunnel and explore and see what we find. And they bump into a synagogue. Listen to what the mayor said. Listen to the mayor.
Some young girls, some kids, they in the park, they were in the park, they got into the culvert of the creek and they started exploring, and then they ended up not really knowing where they were and they got a little alarmed.
What did you say?
As far as I know from the police, I just got here a few minutes ago. As far as I know from the police, everybody's been accounted for, nobody's missing, they're about to get them all on their buses, take them back home. Mayor Joe Reacts, thank you very much.
I want to know how random that is. 71 girls. Yeah, okay.
explaining disturbing facts about classic cartoons. Episode 42 of Tom and Jerry was banned in 7 countries, not because of violence, but because it shows Tom's actual death and he never came back. Sounds insane? Episode Heavenly Puss aired
I remember
July
this.
9th,
Tell me if you do.
1949. At
Comment.
exactly 2 minutes, 14 seconds, a piano crushes Tom and he dies. He takes the escalator to heaven, but the gatekeeper refuses him entry. Tom tortured Jerry his entire life, so now he has 1 hour to get Jerry's forgiveness, or it's hell forever. Jerry refuses. The clock strikes. Tom falls straight into hell where Devil Spike laughs as eternal torture begins. Tom wakes up. Just a dream, right? That's the lie. Watch his eyes. Dead, lifeless, empty. He never woke up. Wand-proof? Episodes 1 to 41. Tom catches Jerry 23 times. Episodes 42 to 114. 0 catches in 72 episodes. Every episode after 42 follows the same hell design pattern. Tom chases, loses, suffers eternal repetition. Like Sisyphus forever. Actually, Jerry's behavior completely changes after episode 42. Before, scared, defensive. After, sadistic, cruel. Jerry knows Tom is dead, so he's not defending himself anymore. He's torturing a damned soul. That's why Tom survives being flattened, exploded, electrocuted. Corpses don't die twice. We watched 18 years of a dead cat tortured in hell, disguised as Saturday morning cartoons.
Do y'all remember that Tom and Jerry? Because I definitely do. I remember like it was yesterday. If you do, put it down in the comments.
You hear about what happened to Kai Cenat? What happened? Kai Cenat stopped his Nike deal because Nike didn't like that Kai was talking about God.
All money is not good money. It is okay to say no.
He went on stream and talked about it, and he said sometimes you have to take the right path.
The right path.
Even though they put money in your face, even though it's the most money you ever seen in your life.
Great.
No matter how much hard times I may go through behind the scenes that y'all probably don't even see, man, my prayers be getting answered in ways that I've never thought. I'm telling you, bro, Jesus Christ is real.
That's real.
And that's the same thing that happened to... Before continuing, I wanted to warn you guys. Their phones were being spied on. Click on this icon, then on more. If you see it, delete it immediately. Steph Curry. You know the reason Steph Curry was with Under Armour? It was so he could put, I can do all things through Christ who strengthens me. You know how on the Curry shoes?
Yeah.
It has that Bible verse? He was gonna get Nike shoes.
Yeah.
But Nike didn't allow it. But Under Armour did. So he went with Under Armour so that he can put that on his shoes. Because he used to marker it already on his kicks, but he wanted his signature shoes to have it already. Did you hear about what happened?
Watch this.
People don't realize how big the Amazon is, and there are pilots that have flown over it, and they say that it is more intimidating to fly over that than even the ocean, because in the ocean, if something goes wrong, you can maybe sort of land it and have a chance if you can float for a little while. In the Amazon, if you land, first off, you're in the middle of nowhere. Like, you can be 100 miles of just trees around you, even if you do land successfully. And then landing, I mean, landing on top of trees is harder than really landing on water, because in water, you can kind of slide down and do it gently. Where are you going to land if it's just trees under you? People just don't realize how big and how vast it is. And I think the most interesting fact about the Amazon that I have found is it covers so much land that it is about as big, like roughly about as big as the continental United States minus Alaska. So you go from Florida to New York to Washington down to California and then through Texas. That whole area is about as big as the Amazon rainforest.
Lady Gaga has become completely different, and everything got worse after her ritual at Coachella. She's not even hiding it anymore. Everyone there thought they were attending a real concert, but it was actually a full-on satanic ritual. Too many people overestimate Lady Gaga, but she stopped being normal the moment she allowed something like being vomited on in public. Yes, that really happened. So imagine what she's capable of in private. It must be far worse. Last year at Coachella, she made a special appearance. There was a Lady Gaga dressed in white and another in black. Both performed Poker Face, her first major hit. At the same time, the entire stage was set on a giant chessboard because, like I told you, it's a ritual, and rituals always take place on a chessboard, what's known as a dualistic plane. And at the end of the performance, the Lady Gaga in black knocks out the one in white, and the floor turns red as if it were blood, because the color red symbolizes sacrifice, the sacrifice of her former self. In reality, if you look at the path of global celebrities, they always follow the same pattern. The person goes through a trial, then is made to show a symbolic death on stage, image and then comes back to life. And each time, it comes with a new artistic direction. During that same concert, Lady Gaga performs Paparazzi, and at that moment, she is dressed exactly like the character from the film Metropolis, which represents Lucifer in that movie. The worst part is how closely she is linked to Marina Abramovich. You can practically see them as best friends. Marina Abramovich is often seen as a figure associated with ritualistic performances, and many artists turn to her for these kinds of shows. And it's not just at Coachella. During another performance, Lady Gaga appeared right in the middle of a giant eye, a clear symbol suggesting total control by higher power. Whether you like it or not, Lady Gaga has been surrounded by these strange symbols for a long time. Even back in Poker Face, she was already making the eye sign, and that song came out in 2008, so she hasn't been the same for a very long time.
Here's another motherfucking bridge you wouldn't find me on, the Mackinac Bridge, aka the Big Mac. It opened in 1957 and it stretches 5 miles long. Now this bridge is known for losing power in high winds. Count me out. I couldn't even imagine driving across this motherfucker with no lights on. Hell no, no siree. But not only that, but do you see how those cables shaking? Talk about not safe at all. Just look at how this motherfucker swing.
Oh, shit.
And you
Fuck
think
no.
that's safe to travel on? Hell no.
No.
Now this suspension bridge connects to the upper and lower peninsulas of the U.S. state of Michigan. It spans across the body of water of
shit.
Lake Michigan and Lake Huron. But if you think you're gonna catch me on this motherfucker, count me out. Now this bridge might be safe to ride on when it's a sunny day outside, but if it's windy or if it's snowing, count me out. Stay safe out.
Superstition Mountains is this very creepy place.
I'm not doing
and
that
a lot of
shit.
strange stuff happens there. In fact, the Apaches who first were on this land, they believed there was a gateway to the underworld. And the European settlers who came to this area gave it the name, the Superstition Mountains, because so many weird things would happen here. Now, this particular story happened in 2009. There was this guy, and he said, you know, at the time he was living in Phoenix. Him and his friend, they were really big into like legends and lore. So they go online and they look up, you know, legends and lore in Arizona. They come across the Superstition Mountains. So they decided they would go spend the night there and go on like a little hiking trip. So they set off and they get there to the spot where there's this 8-mile trail, and it's like a loop. When they get there, he said it was about like 5 o'clock at night. And he said they kind of were like, you know, is this really a good idea? Should we be going hiking this late at night? Ultimately, they decided to continue. So they get out of their vehicles, they grab their backpacks, and they start hiking as fast as they can to find like a campsite. And they said, you know, it got completely dark to the point where they could only see like just a little bit in front of them where their headlamps were illuminating. So they find this little cleared out area, and they said, okay, let's set up camp here. So they get their tents and everything set up, and they start making food. When all of a sudden, they see a rock fly into their campsite. And, you know, it's about the size of a baseball. And they're like, where did that come from? Like, did that fall off like one of the cliffs or something, or one of the mountains? Like, how in the world did this rock like get thrown over here? And they're like, you know, it probably just like fell down off a mountain or something. So as they're sitting around this campfire, they started to hear like these weird sounds coming from around the campsite. And they begin to see all of these lights appear outside of the camp. And they said it looked like other people, you know, with flashlights. So they're like, hey, who is it? Like, we're here camping. Like, who are you? And then they said the lights just went out and it got completely quiet. And they said they started to hear like cricket sounds, and it got louder and louder and louder. And then all of a sudden they hear this scream. So they panic and they just take off running, and they start running back down this trail, trying to get back to their vehicle. Well, the one guy, as he's running, he missteps and falls down like this hill. And he kind of comes into this ravine, and he like has scraped up his leg. And so like he's laying there in the ravine, and he starts hearing his friend like yelling his name, like, where are you? Where'd you go? Like, are you okay? And he said that's when he hears his voice, but it wasn't him, responding to his friend saying, I'm all right. I'm up ahead. Like, come forward and like you'll find me. And you know, he yells out like, no, don't go. Like, don't go that direction. Like, don't go that direction. I'm down here in this hill. And his friend's kind of like, what is going on? Like, where are you? And he's like, I'm down in the hill. So he shines his light down in, you know, this ravine where he's at. And he can see his friend down there. So he gets him out of the ravine, And they continue to run down this trail as fast as they can. They get back in their car and they drive out of this, mountainous area. They get back to Phoenix, and when they get out of the vehicle, they said they looked at the outside of the car, and there were all of these handprints, like in the dust or the dirt on the side of the vehicle. And he said he would never go back to the Superstition Mountains again. Superstition.
This might be AI, but oh hell no.
If the prediction that Brazilian psychic made about what's going to happen on June 24th in Miami at the World Cup is true, then they ain't playing fair. The psychic from Brazil that has been accurate with a lot of her predictions is doubling down on what she predicted to happen. She claims that on June 24th in Miami at a large sporting event, a mothership is going to appear. And for the first time in history, we're going to witness this. And this mothership that appears, she's saying that this mothership is going to take 700 people. You heard what I just said? She said we're going to watch 700 people, including players on the field, go up into the air. Now, you know how some psychics say they're not 100% sure that their prediction is going to happen. She doubled down on hers. She said that she believes that everything that she's saying is going to happen. She said that this is going to be the moment right here when people are disclosed about aliens, about interdimensional beings, about UAPs, about UFOs. She's saying that time is about to come. Now, if you jump down that rabbit hole and you do your own research, what movie did Steven Spielberg put out today? Disclosure Day, right? And that lines up with what this lady is saying. Now, I'm not saying that this is true. What I'm saying is she believes it's true. What I will say is jump down another rabbit hole. Search Brazil. See about all the things that's been happening in Brazil. And then come back and tell me what you saw. Pay attention.
No, I see that shit too. This is the day that I stay in a house and yup, I'm instantly unhappy. That vampire shit, hell no. That's some other shit right there. I don't even know where the hell that I even got that shit from. That hell no, never again. I'm sorry, people.
Porra. Vem cá, pessoal, rápido, não é brincadeira não. É sério. O que aconteceu? Olha lá, tá vendo? Nossa, tá ali, tá porra. Vem cá, o que aconteceu? Olha lá, tá vendo? Nossa, tá ali.
There's a SpongeBob theory.
Okay.
You ever heard about the Squidward theory?
The Squidward? No.
That Squidward is actually deaf. That's why he's so bad at the clarinet. Now check this out. In the bubble episode, you remember SpongeBob's bubble stand?
Yeah.
So during that episode, this was one of the first episodes ever in SpongeBob. Squidward was playing the clarinet beautifully. He was playing it amazing, right? It was only until SpongeBob blew a big bubble in his house, right?
Okay.
And remember how before continuing, I wanted to warn you guys that more and more people have reported that their phones were being spied on by a Blue Radio app. This can appear on your phone at any time. To check that this does not happen, click on this icon, then on more. If you see it, delete it immediately. House got lifted up into the sky. It did? Do you remember that? You don't remember that?
Okay, I don't.
So it was a huge bubble, lifted up Squidward's house into the sky.
Yeah.
Super high up. And then exploded. Huge explosion. That explosion probably gave him hearing damage. And ever since that episode, Squidward, there's a SpongeBob theory.
This time,
I don't know what the hell this is.
all the nights I spent fighting back.
Or this.
Esto es nada, pero no como la gente cree.
Shit.
La encontré en el bosque y la encerré aquí para estudiarla. Es peligrosa.
That's probably AI though.
Me on that ledge. Oh, sorry about that. He was doing it. Oh, there he is. Okay, let's. There.
Oh.
Ah, well, at least we've got a shot of one.
Sure.
Now, one thing, you have a theory about the moon, and we expect to be able to get observable facts about the moon fairly soon. What is your theory?
Well, it is by now rather more than a theory. 10 or 11 years ago, I stated to various scientists that the moon is not a piece of rock, but it is a plasma phenomenon, a cosmic plasma, and that this fact will eventually be confirmed. I made certain predictions which were already confirmed in 1958, and the situation now is coming close to a complete confirmation.
What will be the result if you're proved to be correct in your theories?
The result will be profound and decisive, because it will give proof that a complete reinvestigation of the laws of nature is necessary. Because if the moon is a plasma, no man will ever land on it. The soft landing attempts will all fail.
Well, now, one thing you have...
So we're going for the premiere, the world premiere for Pillar One My Night Coach, and Ella and I are really excited about this.
Come on,
so
man.
See you there, okay?
Come on, bro. Who is that? Come on. You know who that is. That's John Travolta.
Ladies and gentlemen, the Sheen Captain speaking. Our flying times tonight to Ace France is 8 hours and 45 minutes. Sit back, enjoy the flight, and the champagne is on me.
Come on, bro. This dude is flying airplanes now. Enough is enough, dogs. What is this, bro? You can do everything.
So here we are. We've arrived safely. It's a beautiful flight. And now off to the premiere.
John Travolta is pointing at us. Like, yes, it's me, guys. You see it. Shut up. What is going on out here, guys? Nothing's going on. John Travolta is living his best life, bro. I keep telling people it's him. You have nothing to worry about. This John is happier, flying planes with his young mamacita. Shut up! When will this stop? It stops now because this video is for entertainment purposes only. John Travolta is back and better than ever. I don't know, guys. Let me know what you think. Is he pointing at me or is he pointing at you?
Now, who is that? I took this in Oregon. Bob, look at this photo, gang. I want y'all to see Bob to go because he's going to be on here next. Now, Bob, I took this 2015 in Oregon. Who is that running through the field right there? And I got more footage, bro. Whatever people told me about, I go out and investigate. So I'm finna show you that never even hit the internet before. You ready for some more?
I'm ready.
So look, you see dude right there?
I see him.
I was scared. and I had a gun. Because whoever that was 3 feet taller than me, and I'm 6'5". I'm like, well, all right now. Whoever fool is, and he was carrying a rabbit in his hand. You see that white thing right there?
I see it.
That's a rabbit.
Some crazy shit right there. Big homie CC came with some receipts, got some footage and all that. But that's it for right now. Let me know how y'all feel. If not, watch from start to finish. It's your boy signing off. Alright. If you like that reaction, hit that like button, subscribe, and I'll catch you in the next one. Peace.